Democracy, it is said, can be both a beautiful and brutal thing. And in this case, Labour have won a landslide victory and the Tories have been utterly demolished. And some would say deservedly so. There's no denying that this is an astonishing result, given the fact that no one thought that this kind of turnaround would be assailable in such a short space of time. And I've got to say that I'm not nearly as excited or confident as I was when Labour won in 1997 and was returned to power after a long stay of absence back then, simply because I don't think Labour are capable of sorting out the issues that matter to regular hard-working people. And I certainly don't think they have the competence, judging by their stance in opposition, to sort out the calamitous mess that the Tories have left us with. Historically, my support for Labour was focused on wage disparities from the perspective of being working class. But in recent years, Labour have been utterly consumed by identity politics. They've entrenched themselves into culture wars. They've tried to be all things to everybody. And by doing so, they've disconnected themselves from traditional Labour policies. And this could come back and bite them, couldn't it? Certainly, if they don't get a grip of the cost of living crisis, crime, NHS waiting times, and if they don't have a cohesive, coherent plan around immigration, I think they will prove that the Blair administration was anomalous in nature and they will end up just being a one-term caretaker government. It shouldn't come as any surprise to anybody that the Reform Party made inroads. You could say Newton's third law applies every time, in that for every action there is a reaction, and the rising to prominence of the Reform Party in its present guise and in such a short space of time was in response to people feeling utterly betrayed by the Conservative Party, who had also abandoned traditional Conservative values. And they were also seen to be indistinct from the Labour Party. And I think Labour dismisses the Reform Party as an aberration at its peril. The party came second in a lot of constituencies and bagged something like 15% of the vote share. And it might be the case that if Labour don't deliver on its election promises, then next time people might say, you know what, we should have voted for reform last time around. As a taxi driver, I am a representative of a whole plethora of sole traders and small businesses out there who feel like they've been smacked between the eyes in recent years. So it will be interesting, won't it, to see how Labour supports small businesses, given the fact that they are the backbone of the British economy. And it's got to be said that taxi drivers don't just have their licences handed to them on a plate, do they? They work very hard for their licences. So my question is, will Labour be a party who supports individual endeavour over corporate privilege, or will they just be another party that is subsumed into the corporate swamp, given the fact also that Keir Starmer has already expressed favouritism for Davos over Parliament? So will Labour just end up being another party that is answerable to big business diktat? On a final note, I am tired of the binary that sees one side of the political spectrum as being either inherently good or bad. I often extract value from both, and likewise, I'm not just going to support a party anymore because they rub a certain colour. I think rabid ideologues can be the very worst people in society, and so I would advise everybody not to buy into the polarisation. Only time will tell if Labour is good for the country. And of course, we could all still go to hell in a handcart, couldn't we? Or, in the words of Francis Wachowska, who is a great friend and supporter of the cab trade, if we are going to go to hell, we need at least to go in a black cab.